Sophie knew she could find her group and hide them in the forest until the second hunt in case the headmistress or other meddling boys came this way. But she didn't have the energy to wrangle pesky Arjun or insolent Emilio or hawkish Jordan, who never used the toilets he didn't miss. Why was it that her story always brought her back to being a steward of Dark Souls and misanthropes? Was the historian trying to tell her something? That no matter how she wished that her story would go, it would end with her being a dean somewhere. Perhaps that was the original sin, leaving her post as Evil's dean to marry Ryan. Because if she hadn't left school, if she had stayed loyal to her nephews and turned Ryan down, then none of this would have happened. She'd still be stalking the halls of Lady Lasso's old tower, and Tedros would be on his throne. But she didn't want to be a dean anymore, Sophie reminded herself. Not there or here or anywhere else. She didn't want to be like Lasso or Dauphin or Berthiaud. Why? All were formidable, intelligent, strong. All were leaders she admired with honor and wisdom and conviction. What else did Sophie want from her life? Why couldn't she be happy as a dean? What was missing? Tears stung her eyes, the answer so obvious. Love, the first of the Holy Trinity. Love, purpose, food. As dean, she could have purpose. She could have food and earthly delights. But like Lasso and Berthiaud and Dauphin before her, Sophie would never have love. For that was the rule, wasn't it? To be a good dean in this world, you sacrificed all attachments and devoted yourself to your students. It wasn't meant to be a punishment. By the time you became a dean, you should have had your fun. You were ready to put others' needs before your own, like a mother would for her child. But Sophie's life had only just begun. She wasn't ready at all. True, she had Agatha, but Agatha had Tedros, who she'd likely marry, and then there would be babies, and then what would become of her? This pleased her best friend, the internal third wheel. She could picture it now, giving baby Tedros a bath and purring his green pears while Agatha and Teddy were off at a cosball. At night, she hugged a pillow as she slept, her substitute for love. But it wasn't being alone that was the problem. Sophie didn't feel loneliness. She'd be perfectly happy in a treasure by herself, until the end of her days, feasting on caviar and cucumbers, soaking in milk baths, and taking vigorous massages. Indeed, that's what most people would expect from her. Sophie, who answered to no one. Sophie, who had learned to be happy on her own. But there was no surprise in that ending. Nothing that would challenge her or make her glow. Couldn't there be another end? Another chance at ever after, even if she had failed at all her chances thus far? As tears and feelings flowed, she looked up to a dark forest. How long had she been walking on her own? Where had she left the boys? Her stomach was gurgling, her forehead clammy. She suddenly felt faint. Was it the lingering effects of her spell that had knocked her on her bum? Or that hellish broccoli quirk the boys made last night? She knew she could turn back before she got too lost. But now she spotted a seed of light through the trees, an opening out of the forest. Perhaps she could find some chickweed or dandelion to appease her stomach. Her pulse slowed, her body weaker with every step. The corners of her mind drew in, but she couldn't let herself pass out. Not here, where no one would find her. She struggled between trucks and overtangled the twigs, breathing shallower, shallower, before she finally limped out of the forest, stumbling into the light. Sophie went still. A sun-soaked wheat field stretched before her, the tall golden wheats up to her ears. A breeze swept through, bowing to the wheat to the ground, revealing dozens of swords glinting between stalks, their lion-carved teeth shimmering. And in the middle of these swords, bent over, inspecting each one, a boy. His hair was light brown, his face was good set slung over his shoulder, his voice drenched the chest burly and strong. He sensed the Sophie's presence and looked up with big grey eyes. Sophie's heart thundered. Her head spun.